Congressman, thanks so much for being with us. What's your reaction to this story? And if you could, I know, when you look at something like this, we're all wondering, well, where was the biggest mistake made that turned this into a tumultuous problem? What would you say the mistake was?
Yeah. Well, look, I think for one thing, I think this is a learning moment, and I think that Gibbs got it right. He walked around it a couple of times, but ultimately got it right to apologize. Ultimately, it seems the administration is getting it right to get this poor woman, at least offer her a job back. I don't know if she's still wanted in this environment.
Yeah, she says she doesn't.
Things. First of all, it is part of the Republican right echo chamber every time possible to stoke these things. So the first instinct has to be to not believe them. When someone like Breitbart, who is right maybe 5 or 6% of the time he puts something up, I think your first instinct should be to step back and try to get all the facts. But it's very easy to say, if CNN hadn't done that interview with her yesterday, I don't know if we still would have gotten to the bottom of this. It's very easy to take these momentary blips on the internet and start to react to them. We all did it. The NAACP did it. I think the bottom line here is we have to learn from this, that we can't judge someone on one sentence out of one speech in a lifetime of work. And maybe if that's the takeaway, we'll be better off both in the politics business and the media business when we're done.
But to be fair, by the way, to my colleagues and my friends at Fox News, the whole network isn't like that. I mean, there are only certain shows, some of them very noted in prime time, that have a tendency to run with this. Why is it so difficult for the White House and maybe other Americans, but specifically the White House? These are supposed to be the really smart guys, to not be able to tell the difference between commentary, opinion, bloviation, and a legitimate news story. David?
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Congressman, please.
Well, let me just say this. First of all, you haven't been watching Fox News as much as I have then. If you think that they don't bleed stories like this into their news coverage and treat them as big news stories every single day, they treated this one like a very big, almost an expose-level news story. But the question is not who reacted and how. The question is whether or not the proper protocols are in place to take a step back and give people a benefit of the doubt. Mr. Gergen is exactly right. The first instinct should be in an administration is to support your employees unless you find out for sure they did something wrong. And in this case, if they would have taken a little bit deep breath, I think we wouldn't have walked into this problem. But we are in that echo chamber in my line of work. I have to tell you something. It doesn't take long for something to blow up.
David Gergen.